The original reason that I actually made my YouTube channel was specifically to talk about my political opinions and my thoughts on what's going on in the world. I actually have a degree in political science. I'm going to law school in the fall, so I'm really invested in discussions about politics. But what's actually put my channel adjacent to the map has been my pop culture reviews and my pop culture videos. And I just find it really, really funny because it's the point where it's so obvious why you're here that every time I post a political video, I actually get a small dip in subscribers. And it's fine. It takes a couple of days, but I always bounce back, and I'm sure if my channel ever gets bigger, the blip won't even be noticeable. But my channel's small enough now that I always see a little dip every time I post a political video. It is comforting that they at least still get a few views, and the like to dislike ratio is usually pretty good. So at least some of you seem to like them, so thank you for that. And the ones that leave, I honestly think of it as kind of refining my audience, because I'm never going to stop talking about my political opinions. That's just the way this channel is. That's just the way I am as a person. Politics and the effect that politics and laws have on people's lives are important to me. I work in the legal industry. I know firsthand what kind of effects laws and politics actually directly have on people's lives, and I think it's vital to talk about, and I will never stop. Never gonna stop. So if people who are drawn to my channel and me as a person because of my pop culture stances and views can't handle my political views to the point where they don't want to watch my channel anymore, I think that's fine. We were never going to have a productive discussion in the first place, and, you know, it's okay. See ya. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. I always bounce back, and I think my videos are important. And that's why I'm really comfortable drawing a line in the sand, and this is one of those sand line drawing kind of videos here. We gotta talk about Quentin Tarantino. Yep, that's what we're gonna talk about. And you probably knew already from the title of this video, and this was an unnecessarily long intro, but too bad. We're actually not really going to be talking about the Quentin Tarantino Uma Thurman situation, because I actually think there is some complexity and nuance to that, and there are some layers there in terms of how we can view that in the same lens as other things that have happened in the Me Too movement. I think there are important discussions to be had about it. I don't think I'm informed enough on it to really make a cohesive video on it right now. What I'm going to talk about is the 2003 interview Quentin Tarantino did with Howard Stern. And I know he has since apologized, but honestly, I think there's a line in the sand where I don't think it matters that he apologized. And that is because he went on Howard Stern's show and spent a good long time defending and doubling down on the idea that Roman Polanski did not rape a 13-year-old girl, even though the fact of the matter is sex occurred, the child was under the influence of drugs and alcohol, and he was a grown-ass man. So my line in the sand is that definitionally you cannot have consensual sex with a child if you are a grown-ass adult. And apparently some people are not comfortable with that line in the sand, and one of those people is Quentin Tarantino. And I know this is an old interview, but just the way he doubles down gives me the fucking creeps. So I will link the full interview that I saw in the description down below, but I'm going to also just show you a 2-minute excerpt so that you can understand why I am this appalled. So here we go.
Exactly. All right, you got to explain this. I've been dying to get a hold of you for this reason. When Gary Garver, our reporter out in Hollywood, interviewed you, here's what you said. I got to ask you about this.
Okay.
This I don't understand. Your movie I understand. This I don't. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Hey, Quentin, how you doing, man?
Hey.
How's it going, man?
Pretty good.
Nice to meet you. What have you done to make the world a better place?
I don't know. What do you think I've done?
Cool movies.
Oh, well, I'll stand with that.
Pulp Fiction's awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, were you happy when Roman Polanski won the Oscar?
Yeah, that was pretty cool, actually, yeah.
What's so great about a rapist being the recipient of Hollywood's highest honor?
I don't consider him a rapist.
Right, that's the one. How can you defend? See, I don't understand this. How come Hollywood embraces this madman, this director who raped a 13-year-old?
He didn't rape a 13-year-old. It was statutory rape.
Yeah, all right.
Well, that's not quite the same thing. All right?
Come on.
Enough said.
It's not statutory rape. You know, he had sex with a minor. All right, that's not rape. To me, when you use the word rape, all right, you're talking about violent, throwing them down. It's like one of the most violent crimes in the world. You can't throwing the word rape around is like throwing the word racist around. All right, it just doesn't apply to everything that people use it for. All right, he was guilty of having sex with a minor. All right,
that she didn't want to have.
No, that was not the case at all. She wanted to have it.
Well,
and dated the guy, and
she was 13
and found out. Well, by the way, we're talking about America's morals. We're not talking about the morals in Europe and everything. All right.
Wait a second.
Morals in
you
Europe,
have
morals
sex
in China.
with a 13-year-old girl, and you're a grown man. You know that that's wrong because she has
giving her booze and pills.
I'm not. Look. She was down with it.
Oh, you're crazy.
And she's talked about it. She's talked about it.
Oh,
now she's an adult.
So crazy.
I'm right. She's talked about it since. He didn't really do anything to me. Though it was a technicality of her being 13.
As you can see, he is just vehemently arguing that this child wanted to have sex with this grown-ass adult, so it's okay. This child wanted it. She was down for it. She was a 13-year-old party girl. The way that he talks about this child who was victimized by a grown-ass adult is so gross to me. It's not okay. I think that regardless of your gender and regardless of the gender of the child, there is no scenario in which a child can have full informed consent with a grown-ass adult. We're not talking about a 17-year-old and an 18-year-old and a Romeo and Juliet law. We are talking about grown-ass adults in their 20s and 30s and 40s and up trying to have sex with children. It's never okay. It's never justifiable. Go fuck someone your own age. And I'm not in any way trying to insinuate that I think that Quentin Tarantino himself is a pedophile. I don't know anything that would lead to those kinds of allegations. That's not what I'm trying to insinuate here. What I'm trying to talk about is the fact that there is this weird culture where we're always willing to blame the victims. In fact, a woman even calls into the show and agrees with him. So it's not like it's even just men. There's always this urge to justify what happened to the victim, and I think it's almost so that we don't have to deal with how ugly society really is and how prevalent these kinds of crimes are. And especially when it's people who, are colleagues or know the people in the industry. And don't get me wrong, Quentin Tarantino and Roman Polanski are not friends, or at least that's what he says in the interview. He says they met like once. They're not like super tight or anything. But I do think that when he is talking about someone who works in the same industry who he obviously looks up to, I think that his judgment is a little bit clouded. And I think that that may be part of why he doubles down so hard. But it just bothers me. It rubs me the wrong way completely. I think that it's absolutely inexcusable to justify the rape of a child by saying that they wanted it. Because, like, line in the fucking sand, if there's a 12-year-old twerking in front of you saying, I want it, you leave. You are a grown-ass adult, you leave. You do not take advantage of the sexual advances of the child. The child doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. The child is a child. You leave. You do not have sex with a child, ever. Ever. There's no justification ever. There's no she wanted it. There's no possible reason that you could justify what Roman Polanski did. And how the victim feels about it as an adult and how the case was handled and how people discussed her trauma, I think are valid discussions that she has a right to have. But it does not erase the fact that a child can never consent to an adult. They can never, ever consent to an adult. And just watching him continue to double down, to say, oh, it's just statutory rape. Oh, it's okay. She was a party girl. She wanted it. She took the drugs and the alcohol. Who the fuck thinks it's okay to offer drugs and alcohol to a 13-year-old? You can't give Quaaludes to a 13-year-old. What the fuck? So I just find it completely disgusting. I think anyone continuing to defend Tarantino's statements here is also disgusting. And if you are not willing to draw this line in the sand with me that we can't fuck 13-year-olds as adults, good riddance. I'm actually really okay with not making content for pedophile apologists. I think that no matter what your gender is, man, woman, NB, whatever your fucking gender is, you cannot have sex with any gender of child at all. Any child. If they're below the age of 18, just go fuck someone your own age. It's really not that hard. There are so many people on the planet your own age. You don't need to fuck children. And I think that it's just sick to defend a rapist, to defend a child rapist. And the fact that people are not calling this out more, and the fact that there are people defending this still, the fact that there are also women defending this is also appalling. No. Line in the sand. Don't fuck children. So that's a video I did not think I would have to make this week. But here we are. That is everything I have for you on this, though. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. If you like my videos, subscribe, and if this video made you want to leave my channel, then bye! So, for those of you who are sticking around, see you next time. Wiedersehen.